guys, how are you? I hope you're all doing very well. This afternoon I'm going to be doing a review of a horror film from the United States, English language, released in the year 2014, directed by Adam Robitel, and this film is called The Taking of Deborah Logan. So The Taking of Deborah Logan, it starts off with a film crew. They're doing a documentary about medical science, so in this case, Alzheimer's disease. So they're going to go to the subject's home, they're going to document her life, and they're going to just show the progression of this terrible disease. So they get to the house owned by Deborah Logan. She's an elderly woman. She's got a daughter who is basically telling the crew what to do and introducing them to her mother, and she shows them around the house, and basically they're going to stay there for a few weeks and document the transformation from this woman and showcase how bad this disease can be, and not only the disease upon the actual sufferer but also the people that are caring for them as well. So it starts off relatively fine. There are moments where she forgets things, and then she says she doesn't want to do this, and then the next day she wants to do it. So all the Alzheimer's sort of symptoms that you could think of. But then things start to get really weird when she starts to get very violent. So she goes to the hospital on the first occasion, and the doctor says that the Alzheimer's is rapidly deteriorating. It's getting worse and worse, and it's a lot faster than they first thought. And so the sister said, "This is impossible. That how can it be? You told me 2 or 3 years before it starts to progress, but it has progressed now." So then the sister starts to believe, the daughter starts to believe that maybe Deborah Logan has something taking over her, and that's something to do with the history of this certain area that they live in. So what happens at that point on is a terrifying descent into hell, and who comes out of this ordeal alive and what is taking Deborah Logan is something you're going to have to find out for yourself, because that's as far as I'm going with my synopsis. Now my thoughts on The Taking of Deborah Logan. This is a very generic horror film. Now a lot of people hyped it up, and I wanted to love it, but unfortunately for me I just couldn't love it because I've seen it all before. Now it is a found footage horror film, and I will say that the acting is very good, especially from the lady who played Deborah Logan. Thought her her transformation from being this sweet old lady to a really, really intimidating lady was chilling. It was very scary. There were some certain horror set pieces that worked very well. But unfortunately for me, those horror set pieces have been done before. So when you've got a horror set piece that's been done before, you know exactly how it's going to pan out. And if you know how something's going to pan out, the suspense is gone and the level of uncertainty is gone. And uncertainty is what makes suspense. So when you know how something's going to play out because you've seen it before, you think to yourself, okay, I saw that coming. I wasn't as scared as I would be if it was something a little bit different. Now, when I compare this to other films like Exists and Alien Abduction, which I reviewed not long ago, they were generic horror films, but their jump scares were done in a very different way. It kind of felt like you were expecting it, but then it hits you when you're not expecting it. So it's kind of like doing something different within a very familiar concept. But this movie, it plays out very, as I said, predictable. And when you can predict all the things and when they're going to happen, this is going to go, bang, very loud, and she's going to turn around, she's going to scream, and all that kind of stuff. Once you know it beforehand, it's basically, it takes a lot away. And although the movie is scary, it's not as scary as it could have been. Or a lot of people say it's the most terrifying film to come around in a long time. I would disagree with that, because I just still think the predictability in the film is what lets it down, and it does kill all the suspense, and as a result of that, it does come across, as far as horror is concerned, a little bit boring. And so the acting from the supporting cast was very good. I thought there were no annoying characters as far as the film crew were concerned. As I said, there are some very eerie moments. There's not a lot of soundtrack, which is what I like from a found footage horror film. It's supposed to portray itself as a real found footage, and if you have a soundtrack, it's not going to, it defeats the whole purpose. So it is a movie that's aware of what it wants to be, and it has scary moments, but as I said, it's a very repetitive sort of nature that the film has. It's generic, you've seen it all before. There are some moments that will stick with you as far as visuals are concerned. I thought visually, especially Deborah Logan, her transformation is actually scary. The makeup around her face, thought that was scary. Towards the end, it does get a little bit scary as well when they're going through all these dark passages trying to find Deborah Logan. And about the story of Alzheimer's is something a little bit different within the generic subgenre, is that you can feel sorry for Deborah Logan. The predicament she's in. She's starting to lose her memory. She's losing the memory of her family. So for that reason, you can feel sorry for her, but you don't get a lot of connection with her, but it's more connection than you get with a lot of other found footage horror films. So that's something I can applaud from the director, but unfortunately for me, it is a very generic horror film. It's stuff you've seen before. You can predict what is going to happen in most cases, so that takes away all suspense, and as a result of that, I thought this was a fairly disappointing horror film, but having said that, as far as found footage horror is concerned, there is a lot worse out there, but it doesn't meet, this movie for me didn't meet the expectations. So overall, for The Taking of Deborah Logan, I'm going to give it 2.5 stars. I'm going to recommend it for found footage horror fans, but if you're not a found footage horror fan, then I would say skip it. Alright guys, that's my review. Hope you enjoyed it. Till next time, keep watching movies, and I'll see you later. Bye.